You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxshall, in which I chronicle my life and attempts to become a professional writer by, doing some writing, daily, hopefully. Hello, today is Wednesday the 28th of August 2024. You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, and this is show 1121. Well, 111. But for those of you who are in the know, 1121 is a nice little... Well, it's actually a cult book reference, but it did make it into the movie as well. So 1121 is the age, or 111 is the age that Bilbo Baggins is at the start of The Lord of the Rings, when he decides to leave the Shire and hands the ring over to Frodo. Anyway, that's irrelevant. I slept incredibly badly last night, so I went to bed at a sensible time and then just couldn't stop thinking about just various things, and my brain wouldn't switch off. And it would have been very, very easy to still be in bed at midday because I was still awake at 4 a.m, But I made myself get up at 8:30 because I'm working tomorrow and I need to get up at a similar time tomorrow, around about 8 o'clock, to be on my Philadelphia flight. This is one of those ones where I'm quite tired, and I don't personally believe that 2 days off after 4 days of very early starts and like 12-hour days, I don't think 2 days enough. 2 days off is really enough to recover from that. Just my personal opinion. But it just means I haven't been able to do very much these last couple of days. But I did do the thing I wanted to do, which was get chapter 35. Certainly the first iteration of it is now sitting in all of my computers. It's in my phone, it's in my laptop, it's in my iPad. So it is done. I wrote the final, not that many 100 words today, and the scene, and it does everything it needs to do. There's a quite shocking moment in it, hopefully. Well, I mean, if you've been listening to the podcast, it'll be no surprise at all. But the moment where Ronnie kills Sayers is... Well, I mean, you're supposed to read it not being sure whether it was the logical thing to do or whether she's just done it out of revenge for what Clayton has, just done to Danny. And I think one of the things I will do when I tidy it up, because as I say, the chapter is by all means not finished yet. I have at least 2 detailed edit sweeps to go through yet. The first one will be what I call my screen edit, where I just go through it on a computer. I think I will add a few bits and pieces there. So I think, after effectively Ronnie executes Sayers, Oakley's kind of, well, we needed to be like that. But I think I'm actually going to, when I rewrite it, probably make him a little bit more, I mean, yes, the reason she gave was logical, but I'm not completely convinced that's why she did it. I think there's an element of revenge for what they'd just done to Danny. But yes, it was all shaping up for quite an intense last few chapters. So chapter 36, which is the next one I will write. I won't start it until I finished editing this one. But chapter 36 will see Carl Tucker win the general election and become Prime Minister. Just after that, Barrera, who has been missing, the guy who's the head of Ronnie's protection detail, who escaped before they were kidnapped, or when they were kidnapped, is going to turn up. And what we don't know, and we'll find out later, is that he's actually already been taken to Carl Tucker and basically been told, look, I'm the Prime Minister now. This is what I want you to do. And basically he wants him to go and kill Ronnie. And so Barrera's just going to reappear. We don't know that he's been given these instructions. And he's basically goes back to his lads and says, look, guys, I know we were told that our orders cannot be countermanded, especially if there's a change of government, but if we go up against them, then we are literally going to be enemies of the state type thing. So is it really worth sacrificing our life to look after this girl? And we have orders to kill her. So let's do it. So he doesn't tell Adrian Vickers because he knows that Vickers and Ronnie have become very good friends. And so he, I think he's going to incapacitate him. I don't think he's going to kill him, but he's going to incapacitate him to stop him getting involved. And then, he's going to take Ronnie off into the woods. He doesn't want to kill her at the Arboretum, so he's just going to drag her off into the woods and kill her when there's nobody else around. Unfortunately, he doesn't do a very good job of taking Vickers out, and Vickers is furious and angry, and he's a bit confused because he's just seen this girl that he thinks he's really attracted to, that he thinks he knows, just shoot a man in the head in cold blood. So Vickers is a little bit confused as well, but he basically goes after the guys, and I think I'm not sure what to do now, because there was in the original draft, I had Barrera deciding he was going to rape Ronnie before he kills her. Now, he's not going to get. It's never going to get as far as happening. It's more going to be psychological. She thinks he's going to do it before Vickers gets to her. But Clayton has also done something similar to Claire a couple of chapters ago, and I don't want to have too much of that going on. It's going to be a bit. It's distasteful anyway. But I just effectively got men using it as a weapon of war. So I don't think I want it to happen twice. So I think that the suggestion that she's going to be assaulted will not be left in the chapter, and I think it'll just be he's going to execute her. But obviously Vickers is going to get to them before that, and I think he's going to be put in a position where he has to kill his CO and two of his colleagues. I think Dr. Matthews is... I think that's the other person who's left over from the original military team that were on Ronnie's protection team. I think Barrera is going to worry about taking Matthews into his confidence as well. So I think he's possibly not going to involve Matthews. And I haven't decided what happens to Matthews yet, because Matthews is not a designated survivor. So he will die when the world ends, as will Oakley, as will Lord Farnborough, because he was a designated survivor but no longer is. So yeah, I've still got a few niggles to iron out. Basically, chapter 36 is Barrera attempting to execute Ronnie. Chapter 37 is how they finally managed to get Gaia transferred to another tree so it can then communicate that actually maybe these creatures are worth saving. So they'll do that in chapter 37, and then Ragnarok starts, and the trees start not only not producing oxygen but actively replacing it with carbon dioxide. So the oxygen levels on the planet start to drop very, very quickly, and lots of people start to die. Chapter 38 is the very cheerful one that I've dubbed the chapter of death. And chapter 39 is effectively the final showdown, the army trying to destroy the Arboretum, the Arbor Associates base, and basically try to burn down the Cairngorms, because they know that's where the survivors, that they're the trees that the survivors are going to be sort of living in. They will fail. Oakley will basically survive that process, but will die in the woods because he can't interface with a tree. I think he's not going to die by himself. I think Carruthers is going to make it there just in time. In fact, I think I might have Carruthers turning up in the next chapter or two. Before the very end, I think I'll have Carruthers appear. And yeah, then basically everybody dies. And then you've got the epilogue, which is what happens to the people who are in the world after the trees have wiped the planet of the majority of the human race. So cheerful stuff. But yeah, so let me think, 36, 37, 38, 39, and an epilogue. So 4 chapters and an epilogue left to write. Sorry, waffled on a bit there, but I probably talk more about, I'll probably do longer podcasts when I'm writing, because I actually get enthused about it. But yeah, so lots of stuff still to do, but my plan, so I'm flying to Philadelphia tomorrow. I probably won't get any writing done tomorrow. I might even do a pre-recorded podcast for tomorrow, actually. I know I said I wouldn't, but I'm not going to get any writing done, so I might as well. Or I could just record one tomorrow morning. I'll decide that later. And then, yeah, I will do some editing over the next few days. So this is show 1121, and I've got till show 1126 to get this chapter signed off to stay within the schedule of finishing this project by podcast 200, or at least the first draft of it, which I should be on on track to do. So anyway, I'll be quiet because this has gone on far too long. Thank you for listening. Take care. I'll be back tomorrow with something. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my random ramblings, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my link tree at linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.